bow. So as opposed to this, we use the finger or fingers. Now there are several ways in which we can do this. The first way is keeping hold of the bow. Now we can hold the bow and suspend it over the string. Now you can see there that I'm gripping the bow, not using the bow hold itself. Now I can do the same thing. Now this is particularly useful if we're going back to arco very quickly, holding the bow in the bowing position and using the first finger to pluck. So you see how quickly I could get back to the bowing position there. Now the other and slightly more stable form of pizzicato is where we place the thumb against the side of the fingerboard here. So we've got some bedrock here really to hold on to. Now this is particularly useful when one is playing a long passage of pizzicato. For example, the Britten Simple Symphony, the playful pizzicato movement. Now actually in this piece we might put the bows down completely. So if I can show you an example of that. So again we place the thumb at the side of the fingerboard, so we've got some stability, and now another way to do this is a conductor might say we need to have this very quietly. So we stick a little bit of rosin on our fingers here and we can play this quietly. So literally just touching the string with the fingers. Now there are several other forms of pizzicato as well. We have left-hand pizzicato, which is using the left hand here and the right hand together. So between the two we can play quite fast. So for example, now that is using the right hand to start the pizzicato and then flicking the string with the left hand as well. So in fast motion we get this. An example of a piece where this occurs is the Paganini 24th Caprice. There is a pizzicato variation which sounds something like this. Now actually Paganini also suggests that we do this another way by using the bow and the left hand at the same time. So if I take my bow, and what we do is we use the bow at the tip to create a very pizzicato type sound, like this, and use the left hand. Now together in a row they sound like this. Which is quite a thrilling sound. Now there's another technique which I use. I haven't seen many other people using this, but I use two fingers rather like a bass guitarist or a double bass player. Now if I can show you this without the bow. Now for example, when I get to the bit in the last movement of the Tchaikovsky Serenade where we have pits, and it's usually quite fast and quite tiring if you're using one finger, what I like to do is 1-2. Actually, with two fingers, one can play quite fast. Now, the other way we can do some pizzicato is by using a guitar type stroke, still holding the violin in this position. The Ravel Violin Sonata, the second movement, which is entitled Blues, uses this. There aren't many pieces that use this, but it's a very, very interesting sound. So we're using all four strings, and we're using an up and down stroke rather like we're using the bow. So it sounds like this on the open strings. Now if I put the notes with that, we get something like this.
Pizzicato is when you pluck the string, and we can do this with the bow in the hand, which we often do when we're playing in orchestra. Or we can put the bow down. In both those examples, I was using just the tip of the finger to make the pizzicato sound, and quite an upward motion. But we can get a very different sort of sound if we roll the finger across the string and pull the string down towards the fingerboard. And then we can get an even different sound if we use the side of the finger. It's important to experiment with all the different sorts of sounds, but when you're first starting, you want to be aware that the more strongly you play the pizzicato, the more likely you are to get blisters on your fingers. If you want to play a long pizzicato sound, it actually has nothing to do with the way you pluck the string, but much more to do with the way you use the left hand. If I leave my finger firmly on the string after I've plucked a note, you can hear it lasts a long time. And if I add some vibrato, I can even add a bit of bloom later on in the note. If I want a really short note, then I need to lift the finger off immediately after I've plucked the string. And I can mix those two techniques so that I get a sort of rhythmic pattern within the pizzicato.